Hi, Julie Watts here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today we're going to do a couple of demos using some fairy hug stamps, which are in a show on Let Leonie Loose on the 19th of December, I believe. Not too sure of the times. It's normally 11 and 3, but do check the schedule. I mean, obviously, if you're watching after that time, you may be able to watch it on the Create and Craft website. But anyway, here's a couple of demos for you. So we've got, this is a paper from the Tumbleshine paper pad, and you will find all of the products that I'm going to be using on my website, which is juliawattscrafts.co.uk, and I ship to just UK addresses. If you're watching outside of the UK, you can buy the products all the time from fairyhugs.com. So as I said, we're using Tumbleshine. I don't have many of my Tumbleshine left because I've used it a heck of a lot. So you can see you've got lots of circular designs on here, and then you've got kind of an off-white background with a texture to them. Not sure if the camera's picking that up. Oh, you can just about see there. And we've got different size circles in here, and some of them have got scenes and some of them have got textures on them, but they're a really good starting point. I mean, you can actually create some of these if you're using something like a 4-inch jelly plate as well, but obviously these are good to go straight away and they're a really good start. So that's Tumbleshine 6x6 paper pad, 24 double-sided sheets, 24 designs, 2 sheets of each. So obviously there's 12 unique double-sided sheets, and it's 216 GSM, which is actually a card weight really. So that's what we're doing, and I've just trimmed it down ever so slightly because I want it to be a little bit smaller. Put that to one side, and we're going to our stamping platform. This is a very, very simple card. You know, you don't have to go complicated with fairy hugs. You don't have to do a full-blown scene if you don't want to. I still haven't got myself a clean sheet out, so I do apologise. It'll only get messy again anyway. So we're popping that in there, and then we're going to start with the Fox Den. Now, this is the only type of this stamp that Fairy Hugs have done. There are smaller versions. There's a bunny nest and a bird nest as well, which are kind of a similar vein, but this is the biggest and the only one like this, and it is absolutely beautiful. So we're going to try and place Fox Den, I think, just about there. So it's just coming off of the circle a little bit, and we've got, as you can see, because my stamp's dirty as always, you can see that that's just going to sit nicely just off of the page there like that. And I think we might stamp this in a brown instead of stamping it in black, and we're going for pine cone. It may well show up quite dark anyway. I think I might have used acorn beforehand, which is a lighter brown. So this is Versafine Clair pine cone. You want a nice juicy ink pad, and you will find all of the Versafine Clairs on my website. And they're also, I've also currently got a stock of the re-ink for the Nocturne, which is the black. They don't seem to do a re-ink for the other colours for some strange reason. And this box is having a really good snooze. You've got foliage in here, so you could actually use just sections of this stamp to build up foliage. In fact, I bet you that's what Leonie does. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Isn't it just gorgeous? Am I going to go again? I think I might just go again to make it a little bit darker so that it just pops off the page a little bit more. I mean, it's only me looking really close at it from the angle that the camera's on. It looks absolutely fine, but this is the first time I've used this stamp in ages. I should say that actually the paper is kind of, I call it semi-coated, because it's not, this one actually is not as smooth as some of the others, but because it's got this finish to it, it's very forgiving, and it means that you're stamping. I mean, you saw that I haven't used this stamp for a very long time. You do get a very good image straight away. I'll just hold that up now I've done it the second time. It's just so, you look, you've got little mushrooms on the top, you've got different types of mushrooms, you've got your fern leaves, you've got other leaves, you've got a little log sticking up at the back, and you can see all of his detail in there as well. I'm saying he, it might be a vixen, it might not be a boy fox, but whatever type of fox it is, it's fast asleep. See those papers, they really kind of set it off. You don't need to do anything else to this image at all. You can have like the bird nest on the top, and I will show you some previous samples that I've done, which were pre the time when we had these paper pads, so they are on different backgrounds that I've made. So we're going to keep this so simple. We're going to add a sentiment. This is Wish Come True, and it says, let me take it off the sheet so I can read it. Do you believe in fairies? They hope you do. Make a wish, it might come true. And it's a teeny tiny sentiment, so we're going to pop that just up there. Let me just see if that's straight. I think it is. And then we're going to bring in some fairy dwellers as well. There's different types of little fairies. We've got ballerina dwellers, we've got condo dwellers and condo dwellers too, and we've also got witchy dwellers as well. So there's lots of different small fairies, and you've got 6 on here. So I think we might have a fairy just on the top. Oh, not my sentiment now. I know I should have picked it up. Let's move that out of the way a minute. We'll have one up the top there, and I think we'll have one just down the bottom here. We'll just have a couple, okay? And let's reseat this sentiment. In fact, let's just pick those 2 up before I knock those. And we'll just, in fact, I think I've put it further over than I did before, but that's fine. We'll pick that up, and we do these perhaps in black, or should we just stick with brown? Let's stick with brown actually. Stick with the pine cone. Decisions. That's a tapping. So the fairies are probably, you can imagine, can't you, they're probably doing up to all sorts of mischief, so that when the little fox wakes up, I'll do that again because I don't think I inked the top properly. You can imagine that when the fox wakes up, you might find that he's got, I don't know, acorns tied to his tail, or he's had his eyelashes tinted or something. You can imagine. These naughty little fairies. There we go. That's all done. I mean, I'm going to just leave that. I'm not going to add any colour to it. We could ink around the edges. We could do all sorts, but all I'm going to do is just pop it onto some black card. The Versavine clay takes quite a while to dry, so do be careful, especially with this this cardstock, that you don't smudge it if you're colouring in, or if you're moving your hands across it. I need some more glue. You'll fall over in a minute, you watch. But you know, there's nothing complicated about that. There's nothing scary about it. I tell you, one of the best things is to have lots and lots of fairy hug stamps, because then you've got lots to choose from, and you can make your scenes really easily. Give it a press. So there's our first one. Hold that up so you can see it. Isn't that lovely? But it's not complicated. It's very easy. Anybody can do that. That stamp does all the work. Absolutely beautiful stamp. Let's pop this under here. Oh, I've got a background under there. Let's move that out of the way while we do another one. So let's just reset. Okay, so we're all reset. You don't need to watch me put things away. So for this one, we're using the Rainbowdance paper pad. And this is full of vibrant backgrounds. Again, they're double-sided, so you've got a choice, or you can just use, you know, each one once if you wanted to. Ignore that white bit there, that's just where the packaging's been torn off. It's not like that, but you can see lots of vibrant colour. This is great for your Halloween and New Year and any time you want vibrant colours, although there are some more muted designs that you can use as well. Again, it's just a starting point for you to actually do your project on, and they're dry, you know, good to go straight away. You don't have to wait for any inky backgrounds to dry. So I've chosen this one, and it's got like you could use that in your underwater scenes if you wanted to on the back. So we're going for it this way, thinking that you've got a vibrant sky where lots of stuff is going on, and we're making kind of a New Year style card here. Before we go in there, actually, let's do a little bit of inking. This is the Party Streamers stencil from Fairy Hugs, and we're just going to add a little bit of extra colour in the background. I'm not sure whether it's really what I want to do, but we're going to do it anyway because we can. And I'm going to go for Picked Raspberry Distress ink. I'll get it out of the tin. Sponge, and we're just going to add a little bit more interest in the sky. I might regret it, but it's a piece of card, it doesn't matter, does it? So with this one, I'm thinking that the orangey area is the sky, whereas normally you'd have it as the blue area, but it'll all become apparent in a minute. So we've got that going on in the background. Obviously that will just wash off in water. And then we're going to go into our stamping platform, which I've put over this side. Catches me out when I put something back where it shouldn't be. It doesn't look like I've trimmed that straight, does it? Hold on a sec. So it is straight. Can't live with that. There we go. Right. So for this one, we're going to be using Rooftops. As I said before, everything is available on my website for shipping to UK addresses, or if you're outside the UK, you can shop at fairyhugs.com. I meant to show you actually that there is a die from Tutti Designs which is like a dragon in a moon, and this works really well with this particular stamp, because this could be for Christmas as well. Not the dragon in the moon is necessarily Christmas. You can use Santa in his sleigh going above there as well, so you can use it for lots and lots of different occasions. It's a really useful set. and it's good for Halloween as well, so it's really versatile. It's been very, very popular. Let's get rid of that. So we're going to do this in black, so it's nice and dark. A while since I've stamped this, so we'll see how it stamps. Once again, the paper is very forgiving, so it really does do the work for you in more ways than one. It's quite nice sometimes to have a tree coming up on one of the edges, and I've trimmed the card down a little bit. Sticking a little bit because, like I say, it's not been used for a while, so we'll just give it another bit of an inking. You can see that I've not inked very well up there. So if you always butt your card, your paper or your card into the corner, then even if it moves, as long as you butt it up again into the corner, you're going to be absolutely fine. Again. There we go. Let me hold that up to show you. It's a wonderful image. The detail in that is just tremendous, isn't it? Ignore all my dirty bits. I can say I'll get a new one out, but it never happens, does it? That's the extent of my cleaning of my stamp. They are very, very good quality photopolymer stamps. They are manufactured in the US. I mean, I'm still using my stamps that are over 2 years old, and a lot of them, and like as you can see, like this one is it's very well loved. So that's Rooftops. Then we're going to use Happy Moon. And we're going to put Happy Moon over here. Like so. And he's one of the early stamps. He's number 22. So he's been around for quite a long time. So make sure he's butted up to the corner. And again, we're going with black. Just going to go once more, just so we've got more detail with him, a bit darker. There we are. So there he is, looking very pleased with himself. He's very happy. Other stamp we're going to use, in fact we might use a couple of stamps. These things evolve, you have a plan and then you go off at a tangent. I'm going to come out of my platform now, and first of all what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for some pens. add a little bit of colour to our happy moon. And moons are always kind of a yellow colour, aren't they? These are Sentiment of Yours watercolour blending brush pens. You can see I've got mine in colour order now. There are 4 sets and each set is mixed. Let's see, I'm going to go for a yellow. Some of them are running out a wee bit because I've used them a lot. That's quite a nice mustardy yellow. So let's add, I'm going to be blending in with the had I thought about it, I probably would not have put the stencil over this side where the moon is. But we can say that it's a bit of a transparent moon, if we like. We can make up all sorts of excuses, can't we? Just makes it stand out a little bit from the background. Just like so. I think that's, you can use pencils on these papers, you can use all sorts of things. Let me hold that up for you. It just sets it off a little bit, doesn't it? Very, very basic colouring. And then I think we'll want, I think the other ones are, see, that's quite a neon yellow. Which one was this one? Let's have that one. And we can do the windows of the houses. So it looks like all the lights are on in the houses. I'm not going to go onto the actual door itself because the door would be solid, so we're actually only going in the windows. This looks like a really nice street to live in, this one. That's a really nice looking houses. I think those might be little windows there. There might be the windows that are on the stairs. You know, sometimes you have stairs that are a couple of flights, and on the first flight you've got a window. That's a bit of a turret. I love these circular windows. Must be wonderful to have a house with a circular window in the attic. So now we've got a bit of colour in the houses themselves. Then I'm going to do a little bit more stamping. And we're going to use fireworks, which is, there's 3 fireworks, but it's all just one stamp. You could actually cut your stamps up if you wanted to and make them as separate fireworks. That block's big enough, yes it is. So I'm just going to stamp it off first of all, so that I know that I'm going to get a good impression, because I've not used this one for a while. And if you haven't used stamps for a while and you're doing some freehand stamping, sometimes it's a good idea to do that. And we're going to use Charming Pink. I think we're also going to use Tulip Yellow, and we're going to go for a purple as well. So we go for Purple Delight. So we're going to do each of the fireworks in a different colour. These things out of the way. That's Tulip Red. Purple Light. pretty good, doesn't it? Okay, we'll keep that piece of paper so we can stamp off the page and we won't have a mess to clean up. So, ink up again. That's your tulip red. That's your purple delight. And that's your shimmering pink. So we're going to have fireworks coming in here. And we'll go again. Let's just see how these are going to fit. We could do one like that, couldn't we? Sometimes it's a good idea to plan, or not. Let's see how it goes. I'm trying to keep to a method so that I know which ink pad's which. I don't necessarily want to go over the moon. This is obviously midnight on New Year's Eve. There's lots of fireworks going on, and we'll want to have something coming in here as well. So I really only want, let's see, we could do that actually. So I want a bit of red. And purple. Pink. Sometimes nice things to put a gem in the centre of the flower, of the flowers, they're not flowers, they could be flowers, the centre of the fireworks. Let's see. Not going to get much of that one anyway, am I? Okay, and then we'll have just a little bit coming in on the side here, and maybe a little bit coming underneath him as well. So we don't need the red on that one. You could, and I did think about it, you could actually do a mask for the happy moon. So your mask would just be for the moon, not for these little dotty bits here. And then you could go over him, and that would make life a lot easier than faffing around like I'm doing here. And let's just have one more down there, which is going to be a pink one. This is why it's, I mean, and I may well do it. I may well split up my stamp and cut it apart, because I think it's just, or even have two. That's quite a nice thing to do. If it's one of your favourite stamps, have two. Because I really want that down there as well. Really want another one. So how am I going to do that now? Not with the lid, Julia, that's for sure. So what we're going to do is put the acetate there, and get this other acetate there. There's always a way around it. Oh, a little bit coming down there. Oh dear. Well, you get the idea. This is obviously, that's just coming off of him there. That's what we're going to accept that there. So we've got lots of fireworks going on all around the happy moon, and it's a party atmosphere because there's party streamers going on. Have I put that on the right one? That's charming pink. That's the purple delight. So let's pop that on our background. Normally I would put ink around the edges as well, but I'm being lazy. It's almost a shame that these are double-sided because it's a shame to cover them up. Oh. I was watching this ink that there is on the mat here and got glue on instead. See, we all do mistakes. That's the beauty of craft sheets, it all comes off. As soon as it goes onto black, it kind of pops. And a bit more ink. I think what we will do is just could just add some gems to the centres there just to make them pop. So let's do that. Let's just grab some gems, which I know I've got fairly accessible. Let's hope I've got the colours I want. There we go. These ones. These are Sentiment of Yours Aurora. You get 5 and 8s. So let's just put a spot of glue in the centres of the fireworks. Quite a few. You could put a blob of liquid pearls or some stickles if you wanted. With the pearl pickup tool. I think we'll want the 5s rather than the 8s. The glue does dry clear and matte, so not too worried about that. They've all fallen the wrong way. There we go. Like my old big one in that one actually. Let's see if that's too big. Let's have a look. Oh no. Quite like the big ones in there. So some real sparkle in the sky on this one. I did think about putting some fairy dwellers in the moon, but now I'm not brave enough because I've put the gems on and my stamps won't sit flat. So the only thing to do would be to stamp it by hand. And I'm not going to do that. I need a big one up there. Let's have a big one just there. So, just off of the page slightly. That brightens it up, doesn't it? What a sky. So there we are, there's number 2. So I'll just pull out the first one that I did. there's quite a contrast between the two cards. One's obviously very, very bright, and one is more subtle, but I just think it's absolutely beautiful. So I did mention that I would show you some other samples using these stamps. So for the Fairy Den, these are old samples. This is from a while ago. So that's a jelly plate background with some distress ink, and also I've stamped the looks like the scrolls that I've stamped in the background, one of the foliage stamps, and we've got the deer looking on and the Who You Are sentiment. And I've used this colour, this green, quite a lot with this stamp. So here's another one, just again on the gel plate background, but you can see that that could be something from Tumbleshine. And this is before the Rotate Mate came out as well from Mama Makes, and I've stamped the bees just by hand all the way around the edge. Here again, the same kind of thing, but I put the bunny nest on the top of the log that's on the fox den, and again the Who You Are sentiment. And then a slightly different colourway here, again a gel plate background, and also the woody stencil and the leafy scrolls either side. I think that's the leafy scrolls. No, it's not, it's the fairy branches actually. And the morels, mushrooms in the foreground. So those are all with the fox den. And the fireworks, got quite a few with these. Again, the same sort of thing, using them in different colours with the gems in, and that's with the Nightwell Castle. It's a die from Fairy Hugs, and we've got Gumber sitting down there. And this paper is from the Shimmer Gust paper pad, and we've got the Once Upon a Time sentiment on there, and the foliage down the bottom. Here I've used I think these are the ink cap mushrooms. Sorry, there's so many stamps with Fairy Hugs, and we've got some of the gnomes there, and It's a Birthday, and you can just see the fireworks on the top, because obviously fireworks can be a celebration of birthdays as well. And finally here I've got one where I've stamped the background and then stamped the images on top. So that's one of the little dragons there, and made a real birthday celebration card there. So hope you've enjoyed that. I am doing other videos for this set of shows as well, so do check those out. And once again, you'll find all the products on juliawattscrafts.co.uk, shipping to UK addresses. Otherwise you'll find them on fairyhugs.com. And please do like and subscribe on my YouTube channel, Julia Watts, and you'll find me on Facebook at Julia Watts Crafts. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you soon.